seem upset for the fact that I don't really like you. F*** off, you little... Oh, okay. F*** off. Okay.
I just assumed you liked me because I thought we were good friends. So if you don't like me, fair enough. F*** you.
Fine.
These men are professional wrestlers, but this argument is no act.
And I don't have to like you to be your business partner.
I thought we were best friends.
Well,
In fact, it's the end of a friendship. So what brought on this end? 5 years of chasing a dream. In professional wrestling, that dream is always the pursuit of the spotlight. This is the story of a group of wrestlers, a 6-city tour, and the unavoidable clash of egos. Everyone has a passion, but for some, that passion means jumping off the top ropes or taking a chair to the head. Not exactly how most people earn a paycheck. For the wrestlers who make up the Cardinal Sinners, earning a decent paycheck helps them justify their never-ending lust for stardom. I know this because I'm the producer of this show, and I've seen firsthand for years the bumps and knocks these guys can take. This was actually the second wrestling documentary series that I've produced for this group of wrestlers. I was business partners with wrestlers Peter Smith and Rick Doyle on our last series, Wrestling Reality. And now we were all back on the road again. The Cardinal Sinners had just completed the 4th show of a 6-city wrestling tour, which seen them travel over 1,600 kilometers from Cape Breton Island to the Canadian capital, Ottawa, Ontario. The tour has had its shares of ups and downs, but the Cardinal Sinners were all disappointed that their first show in Ottawa wasn't as big as they had hoped.
So the show was bad. There was probably 60, 70 people in there. I'm not really sure, but the wrestling was bad, the ring was bad, the setup was bad.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out when you walk into an arena and they have 100 chairs set up, that's what they expect for a crowd. There is no way you're going to pay for the rental of your building and a roster of wrestlers if you only anticipate 100 people showing up.
On the way back to the hotel, the wrestlers knew they probably weren't going to get paid very much, and this didn't sit well with any of them. In particular, Cowboy Mike Hughes.
We are heading to some bar. I didn't even catch the name of it. We're going to go see what our POs are, really.
The promoter, Dean, is my suspicion that he's going to rub somebody the wrong way and probably, at the very least, be told off, maybe punched in the mouth. He's just got a certain arrogance about him.
Oh, I'm in a hole. Let's put it that way. This show, so far, just this show alone, including Al, about $2,300 that I put in. And that's not counting the fucking 45, 50 hours that I put in running around like a fucking maniac trying to pass up 110 posters.
After Dean got his finances in order, it was time to pay out the guys. Mike wasn't exactly thrilled to look inside his envelope.
Well, I usually work for no less than friggin' fucking hell. I get $40.
How much do you usually work for?
It's $250. It's embarrassing for me as a worker. I've never worked for that low in my life. In my life, I've never gotten that low of a payday, ever in my life. So, I don't know, what do you do? Like I said.
I apologize for putting you in that position. You know, I never dreamed in a million years that in this day and age, somebody would actually hand something. I'd be tempted to hand it back to him if I was you.
I didn't check. It's my own fault, like I said before. So, I guess I made my bed. I'm gonna have to lie in it for tonight. My bed's full of shit by the looks of things, but I'm gonna have to lie in it. So, what can you do?
So when I saw Mike get his payoff for the show, I could tell he was pissed. Really, really disrespected.
I don't know if he's trying to lowball me at all. What I think is that he's worked for nothing his whole life. He's never been anywhere himself. And I think what he did is he spent all his money impressing Al Snow. And the rest of us, I think he honestly felt that we were just filler around Al Snow.
Al Snow is a wrestling icon. The former WWE superstar is one of the very few alumni who are so passionate about wrestling that they have no issue wrestling in the indie scene. Cowboy Mike Hughes was glad to have Al on tour, but quickly he realized that having someone of his caliber on the card resulted in the Sinners losing out on a decent pay. The rest of the guys didn't take it as hard as Mike did. Peter was actually scheming a way that he could lighten the mood up a bit.
So as the temperature dipped to about -30 Celsius before the wind chill, so it would have been maybe -45 Celsius, I started wondering how I could degrade somebody.
What are you guys doing?
We're collecting $100, and Rockland is going to do a 20-second long snow angel outside wearing nothing but his underwear.
I thought it was naked.
Well, naked,
I mean,
but a see-through thong is close enough, isn't it?
I'm guessing a man that size doesn't have much to be proud of down there.
How are you gonna rotate?
Look, he's cold inside. Look at him.
I literally walked into the hotel room in Gary's room, and that's the first thing they say to me. We'll pay you $100 to go jump. I was like, you guys can't get $100 together.
$35. $60.
$75.
Oh, this is fucking bucks. We're going up 75. Who's got $5? Another $5. Maybe he will do it naked with a tampon in his mouth. Come on.
I got up to $80, I think, and he said he'd do it in his underwear. But some random girl who happened to be in the restaurant ran over with an extra 20. She goes, if I throw $20 more, will he do it naked?
She's throwing 20 quid in.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it!
The funny thing is, this cameraman was about to make more money in 20 seconds than Mike Hughes and I were going to make in 2 nights of wrestling. This may become the greatest moment of my life.
Lockerbie has just gone for a wee-wee.
Get some blood in it.
He should be out presently. Holy fuck. Its man is 160. This is the cold. I've seen polar bears put clothes on and fuck off home. Do you know how cold it is? There are people willing to watch this, but they won't come outside. It's too fucking cold to come outside to watch them from indoors. Come on, Lockers! Come on, Lockers!
Can I at least throw my underwear?
No. Just go face down.
You only get 80 for the
Why
underwear,
are you
100
putting your coat on?
naked for 20 seconds, and we all count the seconds. Wait.
I'll hold your clothes, I'll hold your clothes. Oh, the top is up! The top is up! Oh!
When you put a group of professional wrestlers on the road for a week, crazy things happen. But when you put a film crew on the road with them, it gets dangerous. Wrestler Peter Smith managed to scrounge up $100 for one of the cameramen to do a 20-second snow angel in -30-degree weather of the Ottawa winter.
Yeah, hurry up, it's cold for fuck's sakes!
Sometimes people have to go to extremes to earn the respect of wrestlers.
Stop! 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
We saw shrinkage.
Okay, we're closing up.
Seriously, did you find that cold?
I could never top that. Never in a million years. This fella is a fucking legend.
After the dust settled, we realized how dumb this whole thing was. I mean, we were legitimately worried over his health.
Let's get you one guy.
Holy fuck.
He had a mild case of hypothermia. But it was pretty crazy.
Lockerbie, I've been wrestling for nearly 20 years. I've been all around the world. That's the fucking best thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. You are an absolute fucking legend. Absolute legend.
As long as 20 seconds of my life.
1, 2, 3, 4.
40, 60, 80, 90, $100.
So the next day, we were excited about the snow angel incident. We were still talking about it.
Naked, thrashing around in snow for 20 seconds, and his dick was still bigger than mine.
But at the same time, we were still on a low from the show. Bad lighting, bad show, bad everything. And we knew that it wasn't going to get any better.
Snow angel from the Carleton film.
Yeah, I had no idea it was going to be this cold. It rarely gets this cold anywhere I go. Yeah, but I was joking with Frankie saying, bring 2 winter coats, and he was, I think he was scared, yellow, really.
But I find it now quite funny that I'm the only one who's not cold, and all these so-called Canadians who live in igloos are freezing their bollocks off. I think it's hilarious. I was only telling Rick today that this job gives you like so many opportunities to come to places that
It'd be nice, but honestly,
that you might like to go to, but then maybe wouldn't, and come and see it. Like, so in that way, the job has been so good to me. Like, it's took me places that maybe I wouldn't spend hard-earned cash to come and see.
I was really excited to get an opportunity to see the Parliament buildings in Ottawa. That was a huge thrill for me. The other guys were kind of down. They were still ticked off over the payout from the night before.
It's an absolute unbelievable insult.
To me, it was more of a slap in the face. It was more that I don't think you're worth that. I know what I did in the ring last night and what I did to my body last night was worth a lot more than $40.
I was getting that 19 years ago when I first started. Like in 1990, 91, I was getting that kind of money. But I wouldn't pay some fella who's been in the job fucking 2 months that money. That's an absolute fucking joke.
none of our guys have ever worked for $40. And if we weren't here to tape TV, we just would have all handed him his $40 back, maybe punched him in the mouth, and left. I wouldn't wrestle for 10 seconds for $40.
There aren't too many days in the wrestling business where you're not on the road for hours driving to the next show. The Cardinal Sinners were lucky that the 5th event of their 6-city wrestling tour was just outside the city of Ottawa in a place called Rockland. After last night's poor show and small payout, none of them really were looking forward to the remaining 2 shows.
Hopefully the show's better than last night, but Rockland's only got a population of 7,000 people apparently, so I think it'll be another piss spot show.
We're on the second night of the Piss Pot Tour in some province or town of Ottawa, or whatever you Canadians call it. It's pissing with snow, it's minus 250.
As pissed off as everybody was about the low pay, at the end of the day, Dean was trying to make money. He was doing this not just to wrestle, but he was doing it to try to make money, so I do understand why the payoffs were so small.
And as a promoter, I'm trying to do the best I can. As much as I like the guys, they got great builds, they got a good look, they can work. I have guys here that can do the same thing. But as a promoter, I'm looking to make money. So even if they would have told me we need a guaranteed pay, I would have said, thank you, stay home. Nothing personal, man. It's just business.
Apparently Dean had shown up at one of Mike's shows that he ran in PEI and worked for Mike, and apparently Mike paid Dean more than Dean paid Mike.
I paid him $60, and there's a difference. He booked me to come up here. I didn't book him, he showed up, and I gave him work.
Wow, paid me more. Does he live in a bubble? I guess he lives in a bubble, right? Oh my God. No, he paid me $40 for the matches. Again, I didn't ask him for any money, he gave it to me.
Mike tends to stretch the truth at times, but the fact of the matter is Mike is worth 10 times more than Dean, so it doesn't matter.
Mike was not too keen to go out and cut a promo for a promoter who might not even pay him anything. To make matters worse, the Rockland show had less people in the crowd than the night before.
When our agent called us last week and said we were going to Ontario, we just assumed we'd be going to Toronto. But we've ended up in a dump like this. You people certainly don't deserve to have the likes of us entertain you tonight. You can be first for us.
match like this, because me and Mike are so much bigger than these guys, is beat them down, but let them get little comebacks and let the people believe that they have a chance. We're trying to give them these little comebacks, and they didn't know how to take them. And they move so slow that it would just make us look like retards to let them.
Things in the match were going downhill. It was just so much below what Pete and I were used to working with. We just had to take things home. I honestly don't know what happened out there. I know I got my arm hyperextended and I got my fucking tongue smashed in, but other than that, we were like...
It's like you were panicking in there. Yeah. Let us worry. It got off track because you forgot everything at the beginning. Relax. It's a work. Go out and have fun, and you're panicking. And there's a couple double team moves that you guys did on him. It was so bad because you're like trying to talk. You both got him by the arm like this.
Go left, go
One of you's kicking, one of you's turning this way. Take your time. And then once you fuck it up, abandon it. It's better than this. Because that's what it looked like.
In these two young guys' defense, you know, they probably just weren't trained very good, and they just didn't have a whole lot of in-ring experience. Nowadays, anybody can buy a pair of boots and buy their own ring and call themselves a wrestler. That's what's killing the business today.
Unfortunately, it's become far too easy to get into the wrestling business. And that's what's happened to professional wrestling. It's become degraded. Nobody gives a shit about professional wrestling except for the professional wrestlers. And even those guys, especially these days, don't care either. It's sad to see a young guy get in the wrestling business, and I'll guess say, I'll bring up a name like, say, Louis Klein or Lou Thez or Bobo Brazil or the original Sheik, and they'll all look at you like, what are you talking about? And my problem with that is if you like hockey and you want to go get into hockey, you know who the hell Wayne Gretzky is. You know what he did that allowed you to still have a sport that you can now get yourself involved with.
Because most young wrestlers are part-time wrestlers, and most wrestlers for their whole career are part-time wrestlers, they never really learn the respect that a full-time wrestler has for the job. And that's one of the reasons why we brought Frankie Sloan over. Frankie respects the job. He loves the job. He's protective of it. And he was very adamant that no cameras be around when he was discussing a match before the match, because he still believes there's a magic to it. There's a mystery to it.
Frankie doesn't want you taping things like that, because wrestling is no different than any other form of entertainment. It's no different than a magician. You're not watching David Copperfield or Chris Angel and believing that they're actually altering reality, and if you are, I'm sorry, okay? You need to ride the short bus. It's because you can do what you do so well that people can, at least for the time they're watching it, suspend their disbelief and be entertained.
Over the last several years, wrestling has lost a lot of its popularity because we now live in a culture that demands truthful exposure. One of the reasons Rick has been so bitter on this tour is because he believes that he's wasting his time working in a dying business that's in desperate need of change, but isn't getting it.
You're an absolute idiot if you think that those people sitting in the ring watching you wrestle truly believe that that's a real show. If you honestly believe that as a worker, you're a goddamn idiot as far as I'm concerned. You know what? The thing about this industry, if you don't change it, it's gonna die.
It was yet another disappointing event for the Cardinal Sinners. The crowd was even smaller than the night before. Nevertheless, Rick was anxious to get into the ring with Frankie Sloan.
Match with Frankie actually wasn't too bad. It was a lot better than the match he had with me. And Rick was happy with the match, so he was, you know, a little more chipper.
It was nice to see Rick with a smile on his face again at the bar after the matches. But the normally mild-mannered and respectful Gary Gallant, on the other hand, was acting out of character. He was flirting with wrestler Stephanie LeDuc, who happens to be married to another wrestler on the card, Michael LeDuc. Gary's behavior was confusing to everyone.
But I will be the fat girl that jumps on your chest.
What Gary thought was innocent flirting made the rest of the Cardinal Sinners feel very uncomfortable.
I think it's very disrespectful. The woman's husband's there, like, is he trying to pick her up? Like, that's not going to happen. What's the point? I don't know. It's just, I find it rather bizarre.
Fortunately, the awkward vibe was overshadowed when finally Rick and Peter were getting along for the first time on this tour. It was looking like they were getting back to their old selves again.
Oh, you're a mess. You always are, though. You never know how drunk you are.
I'll tell you what, you pay for the 2 drinks and then we'll go from there.
I have no money. I'm running a tab.
We got your PO, didn't you?
Oh, I forgot about that. Let's pull out my PO.
That might pay for the 2 drinks.
Fucking hell. 20 plus 20.
Is 40.
The next night was to be the last night of this tour. This whole journey was the byproduct of 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears. New friendships had been made, and old bonds were strengthened. The only thing that we were not too sure of was whether or not these bonds could hold up. Unfortunately, 24 hours later, friendships teetered in the balance.
That's exactly
You
what you
seem
said.
upset for the fact that I don't really like you.
Off, you little off.
It looked like 5 years of chasing a dream would prove to be far more destructive than anyone would ever have imagined.